Agents for Change Talk Radio, where we do radio with a different style. Good morning and welcome to the hottest radio talk show on the internet. It's the Agent for Change Talk Radio show, where we do radio with a different style. I'm your host, Rob Bell. The City of Atlanta's 911 Operations Center continues to be understaffed and mismanaged. Employees who work at the city's 911 Operations Center are reaching out for help because they're understaffed and they're stressed out. They're saying that they are having a difficult time doing their job because they don't have enough help. Calls are continually coming in. They are not able to answer those calls in an efficient manner. And in many cases, when citizens call in, they either get a busy signal or they get a recording that says, call back later. And they just simply don't have enough people. Imagine being on the other end of that as a citizen and calling 911 with a dire emergency and having a recording tell you to call back later. And you are either on your deathbed, you have gotten shot or watched somebody get shot, or you have a serious injury that needs immediate assistance. And all our lives we've been told that when we get in trouble and we need emergency help, to call 911. And so it's almost a reflex for us to call 911 when we get into any kind of serious situation. And then when you call, either you get a busy signal or you get a recording that says call back later, or nobody even answers the phone at all. The crime rate in Atlanta is at an all-time high. And the last report that I had is 60% above what it was last year. 60, that's over half of what it was last year. And they don't have enough police officers. They are, pulling their hair out trying to recruit officers to come on the force and help them in the field. And now we have this 911 crisis where we don't have enough emergency dispatchers to even get calls out to police officers in the field from people who are in dire need of emergencies. This is where the I think pandemic has really affected our society more so than any other businesses that have to go through a shortage of personnel. It's one thing to own a business and be used to having several employees work at your particular facility or business and not be able to carry out your everyday function as a business. It's another thing for your emergency personnel, i.e. the police department, the 911 emergency center, not to have enough personnel to get officers, EMS, fire out to citizens to provide them with some semblance of safety. It's tragic. It is my understanding that officers have taken kind of an apathetic attitude because of a lot of different things that have occurred over the last couple of years. One being officers being fired for what they thought they were doing a good job in a situation over in the area of Centennial Olympic Park in International Boulevard, where 2 college students were tased and dragged out of the car during one of the protests of the George Floyd situation. And those officers, as a result of that, were terminated from employment. That left a really bad taste in the mouths of other police officers on the force, and the morale has, from that point on, went downhill. Since then, Police Chief Erica Shields resigned from the police department and went to another department. I believe she went to or was hired by the Metro Louisville Police Department. We've since have installed or hired another police chief, Rodney Bryant. Keisha Lance Bottoms is the mayor and will soon be handing in her resignation as the mayor. So we have some new candidates running for mayor in the city of Atlanta. And believe you me, they have their hands full in terms of the issues that have to be addressed in this city. Atlanta is one of the rising cities in America, and everybody seems to want to come down here because the quality of life is great. It is not as congested as some of the other cities like Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C., some of the northern cities. People continually have this southern hospitality attitude. And I can attest to that because I'm a northerner. I'm from Philadelphia, and I moved down here a couple of years ago. And I gotta say, I like living down here. The weather's good. We don't have to worry about any snow in this area. And if we do get it, the city pretty much shuts down. The people, again, are friendly. There seems to be employment down here for people to kind of get into, and it's a good city. But some of the other intangibles is the fact that, and one of the biggest things right now is that the crime rate is skyrocketing to the degree where some of the cities in the metro area, like Stockbridge and Cobb County, they want to. Cobb County already has their own police department, but Stockbridge wants to create its own police department. Although it's in Henry County and the Henry County Sheriff's Department patrol that area, they say it's not enough. They want to create their own police department because crime is just getting out of hand. Crime in Buckhead has skyrocketed, and it's an exclusive area in Atlanta where in the past, from what I understand, their crime was at a minimum, and people, because of that, love living out there. But of late, crime has been crazy. The Lenox Mall, which is one of the staples in Atlanta, when people come to Atlanta, that's the first thing they want to do is they want to go to Lenox because they've heard so much about it. They have just enacted a policy to where after 3 p.m., anybody under 18 years old is not allowed in that mall without adult supervision. And that's going to be a challenging task to keep teenagers out of that mall after 3 p.m. Once they get out of school, a lot of teenagers, a lot of young people want to gravitate towards that mall, and they want to go hang out, meet their friends, eat, shop. And because of this new policy, and this is a 7-day-a-week, 24 hours a day, or at least as long as the mall is open kind of policy, but they're keeping these young people out of the mall. Why? Because several months ago, a security guard was shot. There have been some fights out in that area. And for the mall and the people who own that mall, I believe it's called the Simon Corporation, they're fed up. They've had enough. And in order for them to keep their businesses open, in order for them to conduct business in a safe and an efficient manner, they don't want these young people hanging around anymore. And these young people pretty much brought that on themselves because they don't know how to police themselves and act in a manner where they're keeping law-abiding citizens safe. They want to go out there and act like a bunch of banshees and think that that's okay and nobody is going to say or do anything about it. And so, again, that mall has enacted a new policy where if you're 18 years or under, you're not allowed in that mall without any adult supervision. I agree with that. Because if you don't know how to conduct yourself like an adult, then you don't need to be going anywhere. Atlanta, Georgia is growing in leaps and bounds, but in doing so, it is adapting some of the big city kind of problems that big cities experience. And it goes with the territory. I'm not saying that as or adopting the attitude to say that, well, that's what happens when you grow. You have to accept the fact that crime is going to grow and young people are out of hand and this, that, or the other. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that when you grow as a city, you have to kind of anticipate some of the big city woes that a big city like Los Angeles or New York City or Houston, Texas, or Miami or Philadelphia has adopted. So it will be in the best interest of some of our city leaders maybe to take a trip to some of these cities and speak with their public officials and their local governments and see how they are handling some of those situations that we seem to be getting ready to experience now. If I were running for mayor, that would be a part of my campaign to do some research and go to some of these other bigger cities and compare some of the things that are happening here in Atlanta, Georgia to what some of these other big cities are experiencing and see how they are handling it in terms of how they seem to be able to manage their way through these issues. The other big issue to me and for me in Atlanta is this issue of homelessness. When you go to downtown Atlanta, there are homeless people all over the place. They are sleeping on the corners, on cardboard mats. They are sleeping in the parks. They are sleeping in the alcoves of businesses. They are panhandling on almost every other corner on the street, begging people for money. They have created a situation where trash is all over the place, causing folk who are responsible for cleaning up that trash to continually move throughout the street and remove that trash. They are erecting tents, and when they are told that they cannot do these things, they come at the local officials with the veracity of, you can't tell me what to do. This is America. I have a right to be here. And I have a right to sleep in the street if I choose to do that. There's nowhere else for me to go. And when it is suggested that they go to a shelter and try to enroll in some of the programs that are available for them, they will fight you on that. And they will tell you that the shelters are unsafe, especially for women. They will say that there's no room for them. They will say that they are not going to conform to the rules that they have to conform to or abide by. And they're grown and they don't want people telling them what to do. So as opposed to going into a shelter, they'd rather hang out in the street and do what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. The problem with that is it creates a serious eyesore for a city that is trying to do its best to grow up. Atlanta is the little city among the bigger cities, and we are trying to grow as best as we can. And when you get off of the Greyhound bus, or when you get off of the Metro bus, MARTA system at 5 points, and you come up top, or you walk off the bus and you walk towards the hotel and restaurant district around near International Boulevard and Peachtree Street, prior to you getting there, you're going to see a multitude of homeless people before you get there. In more cases than not, you're going to get begged for some money. You're going to smell feces. You're going to smell urine. You're going to see people in dire straits. And a lot of these homeless folks are suffering from mental health illnesses. Many of them have drug and alcohol problems. And it is, for somebody who was not used to seeing that, a tragic and scary, for lack of a better word, situation. Most of the attractions are in the downtown area around Centennial Olympic Park and Andrew Young International, where the Ferris wheel is, Skyview we call it. The aquarium is in that area. The World of Coca-Cola is in that area. The Center for Civil and Human Rights is in that area. And people like to go to those areas. They like to ride the horse and buggy. They like to ride the streetcar. And if you are new to Atlanta, you don't want to come to a city that is trying to be progressive and have to navigate yourself through the downtown area and be harassed and accosted by people begging you for money, or even worse, stepping over somebody that is laying in the middle of the sidewalk, half dressed and smelling like feces or urine. You don't want to have to deal with that. So I say all that to say, what is the city's plan to try to eradicate this situation and get these homeless people out of the area so that people can enjoy themselves when they come to downtown Atlanta? From what I understand, there's a $50 million budget that has been allotted to city officials in Atlanta to try to help eradicate some of this homelessness. And in my opinion, I don't see where that money is going. I don't see what's being done to institute situations or policies or programs that are different than what we already have regarding shelter systems and helping corral some of these homeless folks in the downtown area. So we have a multitude of issues in the city of Atlanta. Just recently, there's a young lady who was murdered in Piedmont Park, which is one of our signature parks in Atlanta, Georgia. She was viciously killed while she was walking her dog through that park. Her dog was also killed, and they have yet to solve that murder. In some of our black neighborhoods, crime continues to spike, and there are not enough police officers or investigators to tackle issues of crime in those particular areas. And so the thugs and the criminals and the gangsters out there are operating from a lawlessness kind of attitude, and knowing that, no matter what they do, they're going to get away with it because nobody is taxing them on the crimes that they're out there committing. People are getting carjacked. People are getting shot in front of their homes. Children are being shot. Children are being kidnapped. And there's just not enough police officers out there to spark fear in people's minds, and they just felt like they can operate from a crime perspective with impunity. On top of that, you have a police department that is operating under a low morale issue. They feel like nobody is supporting them. They feel like they're not getting paid enough money. And so a lot of them are going outside of the city and going to metro area police departments where they get paid a little bit more money and have to deal with a lot less crime issues. And so, this is a time where really nobody wants to be a police officer. There was a time where being a police officer was a very prestigious kind of position. It was a career. It was a place that you could go and work yourself through the ranks and become somebody that is looked at from the citizen's perspective as an upstanding citizen. You can make some money while doing that. You can also, at the end of your career, have a pension where you can kind of, move on into the sunset and have a good life afterwards. Nobody thinks about that these days because the police department has such a negative connotation. Certainly the George Floyd incident and some of the other incidents where black men have been killed by police officers have not helped the situation at all. And so we are now living in a city where crime is again spiking. Homelessness is out of control. Although there are several housing and businesses being built, especially in the downtown Atlanta area, and people continue to want to come down here because of a lot of different things, especially the movie situation, because there are movies being shot in downtown Atlanta almost on a daily basis. The arts and the music industry is still becoming a tough place for people to live. So I would implore that the new folks, and when I say new, the people who are running for mayor, think about all these issues, and when they start to run, create a campaign that's going to address these issues so that me as a voter can think about who I want to vote for, or at least tell my friends who they want to vote for, and look at what these folks are going to bring to the table other than the fact that I want to be the mayor and, I promise this, that, and the other. Then when I get in the office, I'm not going to do anything. Nobody wants to live in a city where all these things that I mentioned are going on and you want to just try to have a good quality of life. That's just not going to work. My name is Rob Bell, and I am the agent for change. This is the hottest talk radio show on the internet, the Agent for Change talk radio show, where we do radio with a different style. We air every Thursday and Friday, and I encourage you to tune in and listen because we always have pertinent information to give you to help you improve your quality of life. If you like this channel, when you see our video, go down to the lower right-hand corner where there's an icon and submit or click on that icon and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you watch some of our other broadcasts, the Agent for Change Network and the Rob's Rant Show. Again, both shows are of the nature that we provide information to you to help you improve your quality of life. The Rob Rant Show is a satirical situation where we try to provide, or we do provide information to you from a satire perspective. And we give you a chance to have some fun. Make sure that you click the thumbs up button at the bottom of the video and check us out on Facebook. This is Rob Bell, and we'll see you next time. Agents for Change Talk Radio, where we do radio with a different style.